Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I'm your host, Marissa, and I'm here with my co Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good week. I'm a little under the weather still. Allergies, I think, or a cold, or I don't even know at this point what is going on, but my voice is like, dead.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm currently trying to charge my phone right now, and I don't know why. I don't know if okay. Before we start the show, I don't know if any of y'all have like the Google Pixel 6 or anything, but I've only had it for a couple days, and the charging on it is super slow. Like it says charging rapidly, which is the fast charging feature,
It-
super slow, and I'm using the charger they gave me. It's like slow.
It's
I've
like
been char-
slower than
I've been
lap.
charging it since 7:30, and it was at like 38%, and it's like 9:48 now, and it's at 86%. Now I was like looking up stuff, and it was like apparently the Google Pixel does charge slower for some reason because it's a bigger battery.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna assume that's why. I just need to adjust because it is a bigger battery than my old phone. My old phone had a smaller battery. But yeah.
I guess that's
Anyways,
I guess that's why. Yeah. So
yeah, it says I guess a lot of people are having reports of that slow charging with the Google Pixel 6 and stuff like that because it's a bigger battery. So I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight. Tonight we are starting a new series on this podcast known as The Breakdown, which I had mentioned briefly a little bit towards, I don't know, maybe the beginning of August. Um, Basically, essentially, what The Breakdown is we pick one album and we focus on that one album for the episode. We talk about every single song on the album from start to finish, in order, obviously. We rank each song on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being not so good. Um, and then after that, we rank the album as a whole on a scale from 1 to 10. So basically, when we talk about these songs, I don't know, it really depends on the album. Like some songs, I know the meaning behind them, some songs I do not. So for the ones that we do not know the meaning behind, we will talk about how we felt when we first heard these songs, whether it was listening to them together on Spotify or hearing them on the radio or just in general. I think it'll be cool. So, are you ready, Dystro?
I gotta mentally prepare myself for the awesomeness that's gonna come.
Yes, because this first album that we are talking about tonight is probably one of the best albums of all time. Not to mention, it is one of the best selling albums of all time. It's AC/DC's 1980 album, Back in Black, which was released shortly after the death of Bon Scott, who had also passed away in 1980 at a very young age. Let's just say that. He was in his 30s.
Yeah, it's so weird that they kind of like bounced back after that. Or well, yeah, they they took, like they didn't stop like making music after Bon Scott had passed away. They're just like, I think Bon Scott would probably be like go on
Like,
and
keep going. Yeah.
keep going and make this awesome rock music for people to enjoy. And it's like if he was still alive today, he would probably be like, "Wow, like look what you guys have done uh
Right.
since then." Because like they sold like, let's see, they sold like I think like over 25 million albums, I believe.
Oh, geez. I don't know the exact number of how many albums they've sold as a group, but it's definitely millions upon millions. And this
Uh,
was their best selling album to date. Um, this was kind of like a tribute to Bon Scott, this whole album was, based off of stuff I've heard in documentaries. This album also was kind of their dark album, we'll call it. You know how I mentioned every band has their dark album? This is AC/DC's dark album. They played so
yeah,
hard on this album because you can actually like, kind of hear the pain, you
in
know,
their voice.
like
Yeah.
not just like in like when they're playing, like it's just so fucking heavy and like strong. Like you could just hear like the pain kind of them losing Bon Scott. and I think
Yeah.
they did a fantabulous job with this album. But let's get into the songs. So track number one, we start out with a banger right off the bat. Hell's Bells. Like, come on, that's a classic.
Hmm.
With the
It's like
fucking, you start out, the song starts out with the bell tolls. I think there's like 13 of them, and it's like, wow.
it's like yeah, it's like a 10 track album too.
Oh yeah, it
And
is.
it's crazy because it's like I looked this up on Wikipedia when we were doing notes, and it was like there was a side A which had the first five, and then a side B had the last five. And
Oh,
I
okay,
was
so
like,
that's like for
huh. I
cassette
was like, all
tapes.
right.
That's for cassette tapes and vinyl records, by the way, if you
Yeah,
guys
for
are
cassette
wondering.
tapes.
Yeah, vinyl records do the same thing. They've split it in half. That's why I'm like, oh, okay, time to flip the record. Hell's Bells though, it's
Hmm.
like an absolute banger of a song. It's a good way to start out the album because it kind of
Hmm.
shows the audience what is to come for the remaining 9 songs of the album. Obviously, I put Hell's Bells 10 out
Yeah.
of 10. That is like a classic song right there. It's a song that you can't perfect anymore. It's fucking amazing.
I would say yeah, 10 out of 10 for that one too.
Yes. All right. By the way, I believe for all these music videos, it was just them on a stage for the music videos. They didn't
Yeah.
really put too much production into the music videos. However, they did do um 2 versions of one of these music videos, which I will get into. It's one of the tracks on this album. I will talk about that when we get to it. So track number 2 was Shoot to Thrill. Now again, another classic. The problem is Hell's Bells is obviously a 10 out of 10. It's hard to fucking beat a song that's 10 out
Shoot
of 10.
thrill.
Yeah, like Shoot to Thrill, I love it. I remember when WWE had used it for WrestleMania 25 back in '09.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That was kind of like where I first heard it as a kid. So like, yes. And they also used it in Iron Man, didn't they?
Yeah, Iron Man 2, I believe.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the Iron Man 2 soundtrack. They used a
Mhm.
lot of AC/DC songs for that, by the way. Um, but yes. So Shoot to Thrill, again, I love the song. It's hard to like, you cannot beat Hell's Bells at this point right now in the game. So I had
Mhm.
put it at a solid 8 out of 10. It's good. It's just it doesn't beat Hell's Bells. It can't. Like
I actually have a meaning behind Shoot the Thrill, if
oh,
that's
okay.
okay.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Yes.
Okay. So Brian Johnson said like he recalls reading an article about a neighborhood pusher who made like daily rounds. And it says in parentheses almost like a milkman.
Oh God.
And it's about like he was selling like narcotics to bored, lonely, and depressed like housewives. So it's like dealing with I think like heroin and all that stuff in local neighborhoods. So it's like that's why it's called Shoot to Thrill, I believe.
Wow.
I think
Okay.
that's like the
Hmm.
meaning behind it.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I actually didn't know that. Thank you, Mr. What should we call you for this episode? We need a
Mr.
nickname.
Wikipedia.
Mr. Wiki. I don't know.
Mr. Wiki. It was just yeah, I was okay, I was looking at the album and stuff like that, and there was like different articles for like Back in Black, Shoot the Thrill, and I think Shook Me All Night Long too. And I happened to look at Shoot the Thrill, and I was like, what is the meaning behind it? And they're like, I was like, oh wow. I was like, that's why it's a dark album because it's like it's dealing with death, drugs, and all this stuff. So it's like that ties in with Back in Black sort of thing. So
Right.
it was like a nice little tidbit that I saw. So
That's cool. What would you rank this song though on a scale from 1 to 10?
I mean, nothing's gonna beat Hell's Bells. Let's be honest.
At this
But
point.
yeah, at this point, yes. I would say 8, I guess, maybe 8.5.
Yeah, I put 8 for me as well for Shoot to Thrill. Again, it's a really good song, and it's even better now that I kind of know the meaning behind it. Let's give it an 8.5. Fuck it. We'll
Yeah,
put
8.5.
8.5 just because the meaning. Sometimes the meaning behind a song can kind of make the song a little bit better when you go back and listen to it again.
Yeah.
So we'll put it at 8.5. So that's track number 2. Track number 3 is what is it? What do you do for money, honey? Okay. This one's kind of the weakling of the album. There's a couple weaklings on this album, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree. I know there's hardcore AC/DC fans out there, like my father. Um, now, what do you do for money, honey? I've heard this on the radio several times. That's actually how I found it. Um, it's just not it's not a song I can listen to all the time. It's not a song I can put on repeat. Um, it's not one of my favorites on this album. It's good though. It is good. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm.
it's just not there for me. So I put it at a 5.
I would say maybe 4.5.
Damn,
It's
I feel
like
like you know what I feel like? I feel like we're Rhett and Link right now, trying to fucking rank shit.
it's like when oh God, yes, we are the next Red and Link of YouTube.
We're the
Uh,
Wish edition of Rhett and Link.
Wish edition. No, smell that. Uh,
God.
uh, but it's like, yeah, it's just like it's not very up.
Memorable.
Yeah, it's not very memorable like some of like the other songs that we'll get to later on. But it's like, I mean, third track in, it's like you have Hell's Bells, which is a banger of a song right off the bat. Then you have Shoot to Throw to follow up with that, and then you have this. It's kind of like
Yeah.
if you think about it in a wrestling terms, it's like you're booking a WrestleMania. You have the two hot matches to start, and then you have this lackluster
Low
third.
card. Yeah,
Yeah,
low carder.
and then it's like you gotta end off hot, sort of thing. So it's like, yeah, I would say like 4.5, maybe for me.
Yeah, I put 5 because I've heard this song on the radio. It's not
Not
something I
very.
can listen to on repeat. Like once in a while if I hear I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. I can listen to the song at least once through." But yeah, it's not something I could put on repeat. It's kind of one of the weaklings of this album, unfortunately, which is sad to say. Maybe there's other people that disagree with me, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm gonna put it at a 5. So track number 4, "Giving the Dog a Bone." Now, I can't rank this one because I've never listened to this song. Granted, we do have this album in my house. We have the CD. It's just I can't fairly rank this one because I haven't listened to it the whole way through. Let alone I haven't listened to it enough to be able to rank it. So I'm going to be fair with this. I'm not going to give this one a ranking. I don't know if you've heard this one either, Dystro.
No, I haven't either.
Okay, so we technically cannot rank this one. I do apologize. So remind me, Dystro,
Non-applicable.
after we record this, we need to go and listen to that one song, and then we could kind of rank it when we record on Sunday, like we did with Billy Talent 3.
We deeply apologize.
But hey, at least we're not running it down yet because we don't have a ranking for it yet. So I apologize everyone for that. Um, okay, track number 5. Let me put my love into you. Okay, I do know this one. Jeez, I haven't heard this one in a long time though. It's one of those more groovy tracks from AC/DC. It has like a different vibe to it. Has more of like
It's
a lust vibe to it, I guess we could put.
it's 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 like every band nowadays and back then too, it's like they have their own sound. So it's like Red Hot Chili Pepper, for example, it's kind of like a chill vibe. Like all the songs that are like chill and stuff like that, but it's like every group will have kind of like a chill vibe within their songs, but then they have like that hard like rock beat behind it. So it's like this song, it's kind of like hey, it's like something you would hear on the radio and you hear hey, coming from AC/DC, and it just like it puts the song on the radio. It's like, oh yeah, and it just slides off.
Oh my god. But have you heard this song though?
uh Not really. No, I haven't like heard it on radio or anything. It's
Okay,
just like, obscurity for me.
so this one I'll have you listen to on your own because I have listened to this one quite a few times. I've heard it on the radio, I've heard it on the CD, I've heard it on Spotify. It is a really good song. Um, it's not one again that I could put on repeat all the time. It's not one that is too memorable for me. It's more memorable than "What Do You Do for Money, Honey." I can tell you that right now. It's more memorable than that.
Mm.
Um, but it's not something I could put on replay. It's one of those songs if I hear it on the radio like once in a blue moon, I'm like, oh okay, okay, I see you, I see you. Um, so I'm gonna have to give this one a solid 6, just because it's a little more memorable than "What Do You Do for Money, Honey." It's one of the another one of the weaklings in this album, unfortunately, but it is a good song. I gotta admit.
All right.
So Dystro, you cannot rank this one because you have not heard it
Yeah, I
yet.
can't rank
It's
it. It's
okay.
like there's two songs that we I can't rank because I haven't listened to both, but
It's
I'll give my
okay.
honest opinion come Sunday.
All right. Track number 6. Oh, okay. So we are on the self-titled track "Back in Black." Oh my god, that's like a fucking legendary song right there.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
That song has been used in so many like commercials and movies and all this stuff and like I remember, okay, every time I think of Back in Black, I think of the scene in School of Rock where Jack Black has lined up the kids and he's assigning them roles in the band.
Oh yeah.
And he points to the drummer, he's like Spazzy McGee on drums.
Especially on drugs.
Oh my god.
Oh
I
god, that
love that
movie.
song though.
It's like when I hear Back in Black, I think about um it was an like like the Kids Choice Awards for Nick.
Yes.
There was a commercial that had that in it, and it had Jack Black in it,
Oh
and
man.
he was like singing to the song and stuff like that, and he was just like no doing his own thing and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, but it was like mid 2000s too, so it's like like, and it was Nick, so it's like
It's
like,
back when Jack Black used to host the Kids Choice Awards. I remember that. Oh my god. Now
that's
you're making me feel old.
hey, we're both old.
Oh my
Well,
god. Excuse me. So yeah, this is obviously the self-titled track on the album. It's a classic. Everybody hears it on the radio. I probably hear it on the radio like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And I listen to that on my own time as well. I put it on repeat sometimes. It is pretty good. I have it on my day-to-day playlist that I listen to. So yeah, I know we said nothing could beat Hell's Bells, but this is going to tie with Hell's Bells. I am putting it at a solid 10.
yeah, same
Like
10.
you can't fucking fuck around with the classics. Speaking of classics, track number 7 is "You Shook Me All Night Long." Now, this is one I wanted to get into. This is the one where they took 2 music videos. So obviously, like I said, with the whole album, the music videos were basically filmed on a stage, performing like as if they were in a concert. Because this
Hmm.
was their first session of music videos with the new singer. But also with "You Shook Me All Night Long," they also did a second music video. I remember it's the opening scene. There's like a girl getting dressed, and she's looking out her window and stuff and getting dressed. And then you have fucking Brian. It cuts to Brian Johnson in a fucking like a wooden like barrel, I guess. I don't know how to say a barrel, but he's like basically soaking in a tub, and he's like using a fucking back brush.
Oh, I saw that. I actually saw that on Wikipedia when I was looking this up too.
I fucking
Uh,
love that music video just for the sake of Brian Johnson at the
'Cause it was just
start.
like he's just like having the time of his life in that thing, and I'm like, oh my god, man. But there's a little ishy tidbit about that one too that I wanted to do too.
Oh, you mean like a little story behind the song?
Uh, it's yeah, yeah, basically.
Okay.
But I mean, we could do the rating uh before that, so we could just do the rating and
All
then we
right,
could
let's see. Where'd you put yours at?
should be all night long. Um, I would say 8.5, maybe a solid 9 at most.
Oh man, I put that as a 10. because that's like a classic. Another classic you hear on the radio. That's like one of those mainstream AC/DC songs that you'll hear on the radio from time to time. I have it on my day-to-day playlist. It's one of my favorite songs by them. Plus the music video, the second music video for it is fucking amazing. So I put it at a solid 10.
Okay. Well, the little tidbit that I found out, it says there were claims made over the decades that at least some of the parts of the lyrics to the song they were written by Bon Scott before he died.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, huh. I was like, because there was, I think he was talking about in some of the lyrics, like it was referring to when Bon Scott was like dating several women that he was with at the time.
Yep.
And some of the lyrics and all that stuff. So I was like, huh, that's an interesting little tidbit, but all right.
Oh man, that's like a classic though. Like right off the bat, that's cool though. I didn't know that. Supposedly Bon Scott had written some of the lyrics for that song before he died. That is pretty cool, if you ask me. I'm not surprised though, because like Bon Scott seems to be that type of guy, with the girls and stuff like that.
Well,
Um, Jeez. All right, we have 3 songs left to cover. Track number 8 is "Have a Drink on Me." I do remember this one. I hear this one on the radio often as well.
yeah, I haven't heard this one as much as like the others. Like Shook Me On Along and Hell's Bells and Shoot the Thrill and all that stuff like that. But it's like this one's like kind of like under the radar for some people,
Yeah, for
especially
me, it's not.
like especially me.
Right. It really like it really depends. Like in my case, I listen to the radio all the time, like the local radio station stuff like that. I say local and it's like a Montreal radio station, but that's okay because we get that. We get that up here, which is cool. Um it really comes down to where you get your music. Do you listen to it on the radio? Do you listen to Pandora? Do you listen to Spotify, iHeartRadio? Like it really depends on where you listen to your music at the end of the day. Like I said, I listen to the radio. I've heard the song on the radio a few times. Well, not more than a few times, like several times. So, have a drink on me. Obviously, it's about drinking. If you haven't already took the hit, um, I'd give this a solid 8. It's one of those songs that are memorable for me, but it doesn't beat like Hell's Bells or Back in Black or You Shook Me All Night Long. It doesn't beat the top mainstream songs of this album. So I gave it a solid 8.
Yeah, I would say 8 as well.
All right. So that's another song you should probably go and listen to later. It's actually pretty good. All right. 2 songs left. Track number 9, one of my favorites actually of all time, is Shake a Leg. I love that song. It has like a really unique start. Like you hear like the fucking drums at the start, and it's like it speeds up afterwards. Like it gets really fast and loud, and it's just cool as fuck. I love that song. Um, I had just found that song actually during the pandemic, which is actually kind of funny. But I became super obsessed with it. I'm still kind of obsessed with it right now. So yeah, have you heard of Shake a Leg?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of this album I had not heard of, but I have heard this like when I was listening to Back in Black. I think I had it on my Spotify before, and I remember listening to it, and I really liked it very well.
Yeah, Shake a Leg. It's different. It's a different AC/DC vibe. Starts out slow, goes really fast, gets really loud. This was like
Get
definitely one of those
rowdy.
songs. Yeah, this is like definitely one of those songs where you could tell they played their heart out for this one.
Mm.
Shake a Leg, I put at a solid 9.
Mm.
Now, again, you said you wait. Can you rank this one or no?
I had heard it before,
Okay,
and I would say yeah, solid 9.
it's really fucking good. Honestly, I feel like it's the most underrated song on that album. in my opinion.
Right.
But yeah, shake a leg. Don't break it though. Okay, that was horrible. Forget that joke. All right, we are on to the final song, another classic. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution. Now this screams like you know, like
Rebellion.
yeah, rebellion. It screams rebellion. It
Like,
literally screams fuck the next door neighbor, blast your fucking rock and roll music.
it reminds me in a similar vein to is it Twisted Sister?
Yeah, I think that's what you're
It
thinking of.
it's like it reminds me in a similar vein to that
Like we're not
because
gonna
you're gonna
take
take it, yeah, like
it.
that. Like it kind of is like a similar like plane as that song, and I'm like, huh. It's because it's like no, it's just like you said, like it's rebellion. It's like like fuck you, mom and dad. And it's just like I'm gonna go do something with my life, and it's just like okay. I've just been like, all right, cool. Hey, at least you're getting out of the house.
Yeah, rock and rolling noise pollution. It's a classic. I surprisingly, I don't hear it enough on the radio, and it needs to be put on the radio more because it's one of their mainstream songs. It's one of those songs that helped them grow big. It's one of those songs, like you said, it screams rebellion, especially for us older folks.
Hey,
Well,
we're in our 20s, okay?
we're in our 20s. Well, I just entered my 20s, so
Oh.
besides the point. Yeah, like I just feel like it's a good song. Like considering people say that rock and roll is dying. Rock and roll is only dying if you believe it enough. There is still some
True.
fucking solid rock groups out there. AC/DC produced a new album in 2020, which also we need
Power
to
up.
do an episode for.
Yeah.
Really, I have the album. I bought it from my dad as a gift. I love the album, but we are going to do a video on that in the future. So yes, but let's rank this final song before we rank the album as a whole. I put that at a solid 9.
Okay. Again, this is probably gonna be one that I have not heard, but um, if I think I listened to it before, and thank for my aunt for this, because I think she put it on my iPod Nano when I had it a long time ago. And this is
Jeez.
like going deep pores of my past here. Um, I remember it. Yeah, it was like a solid 9 for me too, because it's like it's a rebellion song. I was rebellious at one point, and then
We all
just
were.
stopped, and then just stopped. Uh, but yeah, it's a 9, like a 9 for me too.
All right. So that is all 10 tracks of Back in Black. Now for the final ranking, which is basically just ranking the album in its
In a whole,
entirety.
yeah.
No, we're not doing no math. We're not doing averages. We're not doing that fucking shit. We are doing this based off of our fucking minds and our hearts.
In our minds and our hearts.
Now, this album is a solid fucking album. However, there are a few weaklings in this album, like we had mentioned.
Mm,
Tracks 3 and 4 were pretty solid weaklings. That's just in my opinion. Again, this is just our personal opinion. You are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to be a douchebag about it. That should be a
like what
shirt.
you like, don't be a dick.
That should be a shirt. Oh boy. Okay. So, like I said, this album is pretty fucking solid. It's ACDC's best selling album of all time. It's actually one of the best selling albums in general. Like, not just with ACDC, but in the entire world, in the existence of all these fucking rock groups.
Mm.
Um, I'd have to give this a solid 9.5 because of the fact there are two weaklings on this album. So,
It's like if you remove those two weaklings, they would, I think, would you put it as a solid 10?
yeah, I'd put it as a solid 10 for
Okay.
sure.
It's like, again, going to wrestling here. It's like if you remove those two weaklings, you would have had a good solid card.
Pay-per-view. Yeah.
But with those two in mind, I would say a solid 9.5 as well. Because if those two would have been better than where they were, it would have bumped up to a 10. But because of those two things, it brought it down.
So we kind
And
of are on the same page here.
yeah, because it's just like it's a solid album. It's just like if those two songs were just a little bit better, it would have bumped it up.
Oh yeah.
But it's like it's funny that you were talking about the it was like the highest grossing album. It's like they sold like 25 million units of that album, and it went 25. It was like 25 times platinum too.
Jeez.
So yeah, so it's
They
like
deserve it though, considering they lost Bon Scott just prior to them doing this album.
mhm.
But yeah. So you heard it, folks. You hear to hear, folks. Also, my
Yeah,
voice is starting to go. Yeah, we pretty much on the same page here. Back in Black, we decided to rank it at a 9.5 out of 10. Do you guys agree with us? Let us know in the comments below. And also give us some album ideas that we could rank so we can continue doing the series because there are a shit ton of albums floating out in this freaking bubble we call music. But yeah, so let us know in the comments below what albums you guys would like to see us rank because we might have to listen to them first before we can actually rank them because,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, this is just a little trial episode. See how this goes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, I can hear somebody's mic. Dystro!
Hello.
Oh yeah, Dystro, guess what time it is? It's time for Song of the Night. It's your pick.
Oh boy. It's like you hear the pleasure in my voice, like, oh boy. Um, so, okay, since we're talking about like, AC/DC and stuff, I am going to go with I say Shoot the Thrill. Let's
All
go with
right.
Shoot the Thrill.
Our track number 2, Shoot to Thrill, is tonight's Song of the Night. So if you guys are interested in listening to that, be sure to click on the top right hand corner of this video. When the little link pops up, it will take you to, I don't know if it's going to be the music video or the audio or the lyrics. I'm not sure yet. So if you guys are AC/DC fans just like us and want a taste of Back in Black, go listen to Shoot to Thrill. Yeah, so as usual, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to follow us on our social media by clicking on the link in the description below, which has everything there you guys need, such as our TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Dystro's gaming channel, and much more. So be sure to go follow us and also stay up to date on all things about the podcast, such as unforeseen circumstances to the point where we can't upload and delays and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, before we end this episode, I'd like to announce what we're doing this Sunday on the podcast. It's been a while since we had talked about wrestling in general on this podcast. So I figured let's go back in time a little bit. Let's talk about our top 10 favorite WWE superstars of all time because we've done TNA and we have done AEW, but we have not covered WWE yet. So, what we're going to do this Sunday, we're going to cover what our personal favorite top 10 WWE superstars are, whether it's from modern day or towards our past when we were kids, or even when we were not even in existence yet, back in
We
the
were just
Hulk
specks of
Hogan and
dust.
Ultimate Warrior days.
We were just specks of dust.
Now, I already have my list done. I did that this morning. I thought it
Golf clap, golf clap,
pretty
golf clap.
thoroughly, and I also have some honorable mentions. So it's going to be a good episode. I can't wait to share with you guys what my top 10 is going to be. I'm sure Daisho can't wait either.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be. I don't know if we would have the same wavelength, but it's like some of our picks are probably going to be similar. But it's like it's very rare sometimes that we uh agree on certain wrestlers and stuff like that. But it's like, everybody has their own opinion. It's if her wrestlers kind of like, they have better whatever. It's just in like some of her picks are better than mine and stuff like that. It's like, it's personal opinion, personal preference. Everybody's different. So
Of course. So, if you guys are WWE fans just like me and Dystro here, be sure to tune in this Sunday where we'll be talking about our personal top 10 favorite stars of all time. So, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you guys this Sunday. Bye bye.
peace.